is Wild Deadwood Reads?
Okay, so Wild Deadwood Reads is a reader and author convention that happens every June in Deadwood, South Dakota. This upcoming one will be our ninth Wild Deadwood Reads. It was invented back, we first talked about this back in 2016. Ginger Ring and I had been attending book conferences for years. We'd run into each other mostly in Vegas or at these conventions we go to, and we always bemoan the fact that we thought that they weren't very well organized sometimes, or very well promoted. We'd go there expecting to see hundreds of readers, and there would be, not even 100, and there'd be like 100 authors there, and we'd be like, "Oh, what's going on here?" So we said, she said, "I really think that we could do a better job at this if we put on our own show." And we were sitting, we were doing a conference at the time in Minneapolis at the Mall of America, and we were at this hotel that was totally not the right kind of hotel to do a reader conference, and we didn't have very much attendance, and we were just like sitting at a restaurant in the mall with Randy Alexander, who was another author that we were working with, and the three of us had lunch, and we talked about doing the show. Well, Ginger said, "I've always wanted to do a show in Deadwood." I live in Cody, Wyoming, so it's about 5 hours from here. I've been there. I was like, "It's a casino town. Why would you want to do this?" No, no, no. She says, "It's this Western town. It's kind of Victorian, and she thought it would be charming and a great place to do this kind of thing." And I thought, well, let's try. We could do it once. So we worked with a local Holiday Inn, and we set up having this book signing one with 45 authors that came from all over. We couldn't believe it. And
Wow.
a line of people out the door waiting to get in when we opened. So we were like, wow, this could really be something. And so that first year kind of kicked off, but we realized we needed a bigger venue. And so we found a much bigger venue down at another Holiday Inn property. But that was almost too big. The convention center that we were in held 3,000 for a concert. And so we were able to do a breakfast with the authors and do a lot of activities outside of just the book conference. And so we'd get close to 100 authors and then all these readers. Well, we find that in order to leverage the best audience in Deadwood is to do it during a time when they have their biggest audience. And that's during Wild Bill Days. So now we, for the last, 7 years or so, we have been part of Wild Bill Days, which is, it ends on Father's Day. So that week before, they have free concerts every night. They have dog diving. They have a classic car show. All these activities in Deadwood that attract about 50,000 people. And we lost our venue after 2 years at that one venue. They said, they got sold to a Japanese concern who was looking for a different thing to put into their space. And meanwhile, the Lodge at Deadwood, which is the largest convention center in Black Hills, had been after us about moving our show up there, which surprised me because I just thought in June, it's kind of their wedding venue. And they're like, "We'd rather have you than a wedding." There for many years and love that. I mean, they're great to work with. We have the ballroom and we have rooms for our learning days because we have 2 days of classes free for authors who attend there. We have a Friday night is the author reads night where authors can read an excerpt from their novel while people sit around and have drinks and dessert. And then another day of learning on Friday. So Thursday, it's half a day of classes. Friday is all day of classes. And then the author reads. That Saturday morning is our breakfast with the authors. Authors sponsor a table and set it up the way they want, give away stuff while people have a breakfast. Huge buffet breakfast. It's really worth like $20 and it's all you can eat and all kinds of food. And then we go in and we have a big photo shoot with all the authors and then go in and start the book signing, which goes from 9:30 to 3:30. Hundreds of readers who come through, we give them away a free book bag and a memory book. It's about a 40-page book with listings of all the authors who are there, along with pictures of their bio, and 3 book covers are included in that book. And we encourage the readers to go to every single table by giving them the opportunity to win Kindles. So the person who goes through and gets the most autographs from authors, they get signed up and put in for a drawing to win Kindle. And so that gets people to go to every author table, and people come in there with wagons and buy books.
Yeah. Yeah.
with carts and things. It's quite the show.
It is. It is. Last year was the first year that I went.
Uh-huh.
And honestly, I was so impressed. This year, I'm going again. I wasn't going to because it's my 35th anniversary and we were supposed to go to Italy. So I was like, well, Wild Deadwood or Italy, it's close. But we couldn't go for other reasons. So at the last minute, I'm like, oh, good, good, good. I'm going back to Wild Deadwood. So much fun. And like you said, there's so many people, so many readers that go through there. It's so much fun networking with all the other authors and seeing the books that they have. I don't know if I went home with more books last year than I sold, but it was just so much fun. So I think you guys do an amazing job putting this together. And there are so many things, not only a lot of conference. I think what makes a difference is a lot of conferences are really focused on the workshops, and you do have workshops, but it's not overwhelming. There's so many other things going on, and you can learn a little bit. You can go down to Deadwood and do some of that fun stuff and come back and have the readings with the authors. You can just it's really, really great. You guys have done an amazing job.
I think I really do have to credit Ginger for ever having the vision to think that this would work in that.
Yes.
But the town has really embraced us. They love having us, and I think our venue really helps in that they like having authors over a wedding. I don't know if it's damage or something. I don't know. But anyway, they really like having us there, and that makes a difference too when you're wanted, by the venue, and our readers really appreciate that Deadwood is a fun place. But not only just Deadwood, it's the idea that you can bring your whole family because there's so much to do in that area. We're talking, people on their way. They'll come in like RVs or campers. They'll go to the Badlands. They'll go to Custer State Park. They go to the reptile, Bear Country USA, Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse.
Yeah, just so many things. Yeah, yeah. And there's so many different types of writers too. So you're not going to have just because I've gone to like romance writing conventions and romance writing, which I love, but it's also interesting. You get a lot of different readers because you'll find all kinds of books and different types of authors. Like you said, they come from all over the country.
Yeah, and then I really like that that our authors are so generous and that they'll bring raffle baskets.
Yeah.
To benefit the Shiloh Horse Rescue there in Deadwood. And oh my gosh, we have some great baskets.
Oh, can you tell us a little bit about that rescue? What is it?
Yeah, the Shiloh Horse Rescue. They're a local group there in Deadwood that sees to rescuing horses that maybe whose owners can't take them anymore, or horses that may be older, maybe don't have a home, and they see to their care and feeding. They see to the vet bills and things like that. So last year we raised over $2,000 for that organization through those raffle baskets that were donated. And
that's great.
One of our writers, Randy Weir, always donates a free library. He builds a library, and one of those free libraries like what you'd see in your neighborhood with full of books. And then authors contribute books to that free library. So, for example, last year's winner went home not only with the casino slot machine, but I think there were 75 books in that.
Wow.
Machine free library.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember seeing that. That's really, really neat. And yeah, and you have you can get all kinds of books. You get your library. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, last year was my first year, so I wasn't too sure. So this year I'm going to bring a basket. I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing last year. So how long does it take you to put this together? I mean, I don't know how you have time to write and have this create this big event.
We have actually already started 2026 because we we always think, oh, this will be the last year, but
No.
saying, well, how can I sign up for next year? Because I can't do it this year or whatever. We're like, next year? We haven't even done this year yet. So we actually have already signed the contract with our venue for next year. We have an interest form on our website, the wilddeadwoodreads.com website, where authors who are interested can indicate that. We try to encourage authors to be multi-published. We like to have at least, hopefully, 3 books or more out, because we find that people who only have one book, it makes it really hard for you to be successful at a book signing if you only have one offering.
Right.
But for those who maybe have something unique and maybe a single book is enough, we have occasionally accommodated them by letting them buy a table. We just warn them that, hey, if you've only got one book, you may not be as successful here as some of the other established authors are.
Right.
And so we put in, and I think having a book that people can take home with them with all those authors in it, that's something that they can go back. I have a friend who's always says she looks through that book because she needs to find out who the author was that wrote this so she can go buy the next book in the series or whatever. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
That's
that was
great. So does it cost the reader any money to go to the event?
totally free for readers. We don't charge readers anything. So they go home with a book bag, at least a book bag, and this 40-page book. And they usually go home with a lot of swag too, because we have very
Yeah. I was just thinking about that too. Like, what kind of things do I want to give away? But yeah, everybody, you walk along the tables and you can get bookmarks and candy and all kinds of things too that are really cool. And so it's kid friendly as well, right?
and we also have a lot of children's authors there. So there's a whole
Yeah.
section. We try to put the children's books kind of in one area, and we try to make sure our erotica authors are on the other side of the ballroom.
That's a good idea.
Family friendly.
So if you are an author then you have at least 3 books and you want to register, so it's too late for 2025, right?
We could still take. We just had an unfortunate cancellation. We have somebody who had to have surgery, so we have a couple of tables still available for this year.
Okay.
Like I said, we have started taking interest for 2026.
Okay. And it doesn't cost authors anything either just to go. So if you want to go to Learning Day, that's free. It only costs if you want to sell your books and you purchase a display table, which is honestly very reasonable compared to other conferences.
This is sort of a labor of love for both Ginger and I. This is not a money making operation at all. We try to offer things that are of interest to readers and authors. We try to make sure they go away having learned something, especially if they're willing to spend some time in the classes. And that's another thing. It doesn't cost anything to take those classes.
Yeah.
Amazing classes scheduled for this year. I'm just always surprised at how generous authors are with their time to be able to prepare a class and present it at the show. So, and
Yeah.
sponsors, because authors are willing to put money to help us buy the refreshments for things like Learning Day. Our meet and greet, which is Thursday night, is free to readers and to authors. And we have some authors that help pay for that with sponsorships. And sponsorships help pay for the author reads night too, because it's like a $10 ticket. And you get all these different desserts to choose from. There's a cash bar available if you want to drink. And then after you're done with the author reads, then you can head downtown into Deadwood and listen to the free concert.
Thank you very, very much for sharing all. Again, it's a very, very exciting conference. You get to meet so many different people. I made a lot of new friends last year, so I highly recommend it for people who are just starting out or people who have written a million books.